Hey everybody, third pair tray here with a discussion video for One Piece chapter 1055 titled New Age. Now, quite a bit happened. So the first thing to unpack with is simply, alright. So it starts off, everyone's celebrating at the festival. At the Far Capital, everyone's celebrating, having a good time still. And the Scabbards and Momonosuke and Yamato are still fighting Aramaki. His wood power is starting to overwhelm them, and at first Raizo thinks he's got the jump on him because he has a scroll that's literally filled with fire because of his ability to seal anything in his scrolls. So he just unleashes a wave of fire on him, and is like, you really didn't think I didn't have a countermeasure for this, and he calls it fireproof forest, which I can only assume he just saps so much moisture from the ground itself that he just enriches the trees that he utilizes for combat with so much moisture, it's impossible to set them on fire. I mean, because they're dry wood is easier to set on flame than wood that's freshly cut. That's all I'm gonna say. So, if you're trying to cut a tree down, it's like if it's still full of good moisture in there and it was a healthy enough tree, it's gonna take a while for it to be set on fire unless you straight incinerate the thing. So of course it doesn't work at first, and Momonosuke is still struggling to break free. He's still ensnared in these vines. He keeps getting slammed to the ground repeatedly. And Yamato's still trying to help, still trying to fight, but Momonosuke says, look, I understand that you want to help us fight him, but it would be a shame for you to help us in this fight. You have been chained all of your life, and now you have a chance to leave with the Straw Hats. You have to leave with them. And we can't even ask them to help us in this fight right now, because how can we prove that we can protect our own kingdom if we constantly have to ask the help of people who want to leave and move on? How can we hope to protect our own country by ourselves? So, I can understand that. Momonosuke has a pretty, good character growth in this moment. And, he starts tearing up, he starts breaking down. And, Yamato's touched by it. And Aramaki mocks him and berates him for it, calls him a spoiled brat. And then at that moment, Momonosuke just gets real pissed off and then just unleashes a Kaido-class Boro breath right through Aramaki's body. Mind you, he's a big tree at this point, and he's a Logia, so I'm pretty sure, even though it did hurt him, he was still fine. Like, literally in the next page, at this point, Momonosuke figured out how to use his Boro breath now, and he's just incinerating this forest that Aramaki just made over and over and over again. And Aramaki slowly starts to create a seedling on the ground, and then the seedling just grows into a full-grown, well, not even a tree, it literally becomes Aramaki. Like, the ability of intangibility that a Logia gives to a user, imagine that, but with the plant variant of it. Where, someone let's say, for instance, prime example, Sabo. He ate the Flare fruit, so he's living fire. You touch him, you will literally set yourself on fire. He's literally like fire in the shape of a human body. It's the same thing with Aramaki, but it's with a forest as a whole. So then he starts to get the upper hand, starts ensnaring everybody, starts draining every one of their fluids. And just when he gets to the point where he's about to just straight end Momonosuke and like skewer him, out of nowhere, in the distance, there's this huge blast of Conqueror's Haki in the shape of this lightning bolt, this black lightning bolt in the sky. And next thing you know, Aramaki just stops in his tracks. And he immediately bails. And then we cut to Shanks. We cut to Shanks' ship. The Red Force. And I don't know who's saying this. I don't know if it's Lucky Roo or Beckman, but he's saying, look, man, you gotta calm down with that Conqueror's hockey, man. All the newbies on the ship are starting to pass out and foam at the mouth. And yeah, Shanks literally flexed and made a whole Navy admiral regret everything that he was about to do. Needless to say, he leaves. He literally makes like a tree and leaves. That just shows how powerful Shanks is. He literally showed up and said, beat it. And he was like, okay, cool, I'm gone. I do not want that smoke at all. So anyway, victory. So we cut back to the palace. And we cut to the inner basement of the main palace. And we get to Sukiyaki. And he's taking Ramen down to the inner basement of the palace. And Law joins them. And pretty much they get to a section of the palace where he starts talking that this area is secret. I haven't even showed Orochi or Kaido this. So pretty much he takes them to a secret passageway. And in the secret area, there's a window and there's light shining through. They look through this window, they see an entire submerged Wano city. Like the original city of Wano, all underwater. Yeah. Also, it's right to mention that they said that, Jack was on their crew, and that's the only reason why they found out the secret behind this. And it's like, what would Jack? What's so special about Jack? He's a fisherman. So what? So what? Why? Everything's underwater, and that's how he was able to find all of this. The low poneglyph is here. The red poneglyph is here to help you get to the final island. And Pluton is also here. Yeah. Now, let's go to the story on why Wano looks like this. In all actual fact, this is what Wano originally looked like. This is the original city. The settlements that you see above all of this, that was something that we had to adapt to 800 years ago. Because there was a point where this island was literally this. It was just this, all of this land, all these buildings, this entire city of Wano, and this immense volcano right behind us, Mount Fuji. Well, there was a point where immense walls of earth was erected around the entire island nation of Wano. And it was landlocked so tight that when it rained, it just filled consistently with water to the point where everyone had to leave the original land of Wano behind, and they had to get to higher ground, which is now the current, present Wano country. And Pluton is still there. And given the destructive capacity of Pluton, it can easily bust down those walls. In fact, I dare say that was the concept. Like, I dare say the only way to unleash Pluton into the world is literally to activate it somehow, unleash its firepower on the walls, and just break down the entire structure. Because that would actually make things a lot more... Ooh. Slight tangent. If they do that, they're doing nothing but increasing more water volume into the ocean. What if that causes like an outward ripple effect where other surrounding nations get affected? Like, what if pretty much is gonna just raise the water level, but that in a world like One Piece, even in a world like now, like that's why people are freaking out about the ice caps melting, because it's just gonna add more water to everything and it's going to change everything. So yeah, that's definitely something to think about. So yeah, Sukiyaki reveals that yes, Pluton is here, and this is what Wano used to be years ago. We don't know why it's the way it is, but whatever Oden found out, he was truly dedicated to opening the borders. But we don't know what he found out. We don't know why he wanted to open the borders, but we'll just never know. So, after all that, we then cut to what Luffy and the others have been up to. And they're just chilling. They're just sitting on top of the palace. They're just eating. They're just watching everything go down. And they're just smiling and they're just chilling. And it's like, wow, Momonosuke, he's got a long way to go, but he's got things covered here. He was like, yeah. And you know what? They were very good. They were able to fend off that guy by themselves. Proud of them. Didn't even have to step in. And I was like, yeah. Did you guys feel that burst of haki just now? I wonder who that was. And Luffy's like, I had a familiar face pop up in my head. He knows it's Shanks. He already knows. That's why Luffy's so happy right now. Like, he's like, all right, Momonosuke can fend for himself now. Shanks is here. I get to see him again. That's great. It's like, Luffy, you matured. The last time in Dressrosa, when Fujitora was there, a whole admiral that could control gravity was there, you immediately wanted the smoke. You immediately wanted to fight him. Aramaki shows up literally in Wano's backyard. And the fact that Luffy wasn't there to fight him shocked me. In fact, the fact that he watched it shocked me. Him and the monster quartet. Because it was him, Jinbei, so Luffy was right here, then you had Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei just standing there, and I'm like, okay, I love this lineup to death. And I'm amazed that they just sat back and let them handle this, and that just lets you know that if things got bad, they would have had their back. Like, immediately. So, nothing bad was gonna happen. You know, not to mention Shanks showed up and literally scared a whole admiral away. That was amazing. So, yeah, that's pretty much the chapter. That's pretty much it. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this? You know, like what do you think is gonna happen now? Like, what is Shanks gonna try and recruit Luffy? Is Luffy gonna try and fight Shanks right there? I don't know. Who knows? It would actually be kind of an insane twist if Shanks just straight took Luffy and just brought him straight to One Piece. Like out of nowhere. Now that you've awakened the power, I can now unlock One Piece. You're coming with me whether you like it or not. Like, how dark would that be if Shanks just straight, and with their lack of a better words, turned redcoat and just revealed his true intentions and is like, yeah, Luffy's a means to an end to me, so I'm just gonna take him with me and there's nothing that he can do about it. Even as strong as he's gotten, I can literally knock him out. Yeah, he beat Kaido. He beat a guy that got jumped repeatedly, was taking consistent damage, was never healing himself, all the while Luffy was able to take consistent naps and was able to get a full meal and a full rest all throughout their fights. They literally went 4 rounds. Actually, no. 1 round. 2 rounds. They went 3 rounds consecutively. And before then, Kaido was getting damaged by the others. By the Scabbards. He was... Okay, the Scabbards managed to scratch him and make him... They gave him a scrape. They gave him paper cuts. At best. Damage-wise. He didn't start taking actual damage until Luffy came in, and then it's like 3 times. 3 consecutive times. Whereas Shanks... Why do I have a feeling Luffy, when he goes into Gear 5th against Shanks, Shanks is just going to just hit him one time. He's pretty much going to do to him what Kaido did to him in Gear 4th. Except it's going to be even more impactful because it's Gear 5th, his most powerful form at this point, where he knows how to weaponize and combine his Conqueror's Haki as well as his Armament Haki. Shanks has been doing this for decades, Luffy. Kaido has been doing this for decades. Big Mom has been doing it. You just learned this trick. I know you're the main character, but... ugh. You still got a long way to go. That's my thoughts on it. So, that'll be all. This is the third pair tray. Be sure to rate the video, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Stay safe.